Good evening. The government's announced improved compensation for homeowners affected by the planned HS2 rail route. Homes closest to the line will be bought by the government for their full market value plus 10%. And then a rent back option is being offered to those who don't want to move. But some residents say the compensation is still too little. Transport correspondent Peter Plisner told me who will benefit.
Well, I think the biggest winners will be those living closest to the line, those in the so-called safeguarding zone. They can now join from today an express purchase scheme, which effectively means the government will buy their properties for the unblighted market value, plus they'll pay an extra 10% up to a value of £47,000. They'll also pay moving costs, and I'm being told they will pay stamp duty on houses that people then go on to buy. They've announced other measures too, but the Transport Minister, Robert Goodwin, said more people will be compensated as a result of these packages.
It's important, I think, that we do try and preserve communities, because what we don't want to see is whole villages being blighted by mass exoduses of people, and indeed it could change the whole character of those. So we're very keen to help the people who are staying, as well as offer good compensation to the people who need to sell their properties.
Peter, what about those who live further away but whose homes are still blighted? What can they claim?
Well, previously there was very little compensation available apart from discretionary blight compensations. Now we're being told there's a voluntary purchase scheme where the government may buy your property up to 120 metres from the centre line of the road. They also may make cash payments to those who don't actually want to move, up to £100,000. There's a new need to sell scheme, which is very similar to the old exceptional hardship scheme, and homeowner payments for people up to 300 metres away from the centre line of HS2. They could get compensation up to £22,500. But despite all that, some residents say they're still not happy.
We're not going to get anything out of this at all at the end of the day. In fact, we still, even if they gave us that money, we still haven't sold the house. So what price are we going to sell the house at? We may have to drop another God knows how much.
Does all of this mean that the cost of HS2 will go up even further?
Well, that's certainly one question I asked ministers this morning, and what we're being told is that this will eat into the contingency budget for HS2, which is already built into the global costs that we've seen published in the past. But of course, construction costs do rise over time, and it may mean that ultimately it could well push HS2 even higher.